Hi, I'm John.
And I'm Corey.
And this is the Tiny Room Movie Review. Too much?
Nope.
Alright.
Hey man, you hear about the tiny room?
Whoa, shh. Today we're talking about Babylon AD, directed by Matthew Kasovitz in 2008, starring Vin Diesel, Michelle Yeoh, and Melanie Thierry. I hope I'm saying that right.
Babylon AD is about a mercenary who is hired to transport a young woman with clairvoyant abilities from Russia to America.
Sounds pretty interesting. Alright, let's get straight to it.
Отец в наших руках. Живой. Вставай, Турап.
Carl, is that you?
Starting with audio-visual. This movie was pretty cool to look at. There was a lot of action, and it's a science fiction movie. It's set in a dystopian world, and they do a really cool job with that. Blending in kind of a, I almost want to say realistic sense of what science would advance to. It's not too over the top. There's no flying cars or random spacecraft. It still looks like the world we live in today, just with some upgraded technologies that were kind of pretty cool. A lot of the gunfights and the vehicle chase scenes were pretty on point, and it was pretty actiony as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, the audio wasn't too bad. It fit the action sci-fi thriller movie. In the visuals, in the beginning they start out in Russia, and I just imagine that being Russia today. But it could be, it may not be. I've never been to Russia. But hey, it made me feel that I was in Russia. It was it wasn't terrible, but I felt like a few things for the visual portion of it just kind of were out of place. It was like this, futuristic kind of America, and like, I don't know, it felt like some things were just kind of like cheaply put together, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair.
You are a hard man to find, Torop. I'm not hiding. You could have knocked.
Moving on to acting, I wish Vin Diesel would learn to enunciate. He opens up the film with this really cool narration, maybe, but I really couldn't tell. It's like he was gritting his teeth the whole time. I'm Vin Diesel. It really makes sense why in Guardians of the Galaxy, all they let him say is, I am Groot. He's good physically, like he moves his body like a mercenary, and he's kind of like actiony and cool, and dialogue was not his strong suit. The other actors seemed pretty alright, but I don't know, there also wasn't enough reaction from them in certain scenes, especially like when people are dying in front of them and there's giant explosions. Like, I could have seen a little bit more.
Vin Diesel. So it actually, when I first started watching it, it took me back to when I first saw Pitch Black, one of his older movies. And, I do kind of like that kind of dark undertone, kind of gritty, like, acting that he does.
Oh, yeah.
But it's fit for him, And then it kind of showed with, like, throughout the movie, with, like, it showed a XXX side of him, and, like, a Fast and the Furious side of him. It like, everything kind of culminated together, and it wasn't great by any means, but it was all right. Like, I don't think he did a horrible job. All the other characters were nothing excellent. But yeah, they weren't horrible either.
Nobody did bad. It was
not
just,
at all.
Yeah. Cool. As far as plot structure, I'm still trying to figure out what this movie was about and supposed to be about. I was on board with most of it. Like, he's transporting this girl, and they're struggling along the way, and that part made sense. But I didn't really understand a lot of the characters' motivations. It seemed to be like there were different societies and country sides and different agencies involved, and I didn't really understand why anyone was doing anything. other than like he was motivated by money, but he also like really wanted to get back home, which is in New York. But I don't know, I could have used some backstory, and some of the character development just kind of happened. You didn't really see it happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, maybe that's on me. I should have just sat back and said, "Hey, this is a neat sci-fi thriller thing," and watched it. But there was just too many plot holes for me to focus.
I think, yeah, I agree. Like, there was I feel like the beginning part of the movie, basically, up until they get to New York, where, like, that's kind of when it went off the rails, where they just, like, ham-fisted, like, oh, here we go, here's the rest of the story. They spent a lot of time, like, showing the survival aspect of, like, the transportation portion of her.
Yeah.
But then after that, it was just like, all right, well, where are we going with this? And then it's just like, oh, here we go. Now she's like, she's all crazy. Like, I don't know, super powerful.
Yeah, like some of there was a lot of exposition they could have done at the beginning, I feel, to show us, okay, this is why all of this is happening in the first place.
Yeah.
And that might have made the rest of the movie more enjoyable.
Possibly.
Continuing on to the engagement, I was engaged. I mean, I did enjoy this movie for the science fiction aspect of it. I mean, like I said earlier, it was fun to watch. Vin Diesel doing all his crazy stunts and fighting, and the journey that they have, like, I mean, involves snowmobiles in one scene. There's a Russian sub that comes up, and they have to, fight to get on. It's really actiony, and I didn't find myself zoning out too much.
Yeah.
So it was enjoyable for that. It was just kind of a little bit of the plot that had me thrown off more than anything.
Yeah, there was more than a few things I feel like that kind of just like, it left me with questions which were I wanted answers to but never got. So like I was engaged, like like you. And it wasn't a bad movie. It was engaging. The explosions, it kept my attention. There's just like the little things, like when Vin Diesel's in Russia and he doesn't speak a lick of like Russian, but no one else speaks English. He just understands Russian, and they somehow understand English.
Yeah, that was.
I just like when little things like that kind of come up. It makes me feel like I kind of chuckle at it, and I'm like, well, that's dumb. Like just learn Russian or just get a couple English people to speak English or vice versa. Anyway, it's just little things that kind of like threw me off for engagement.
Yeah.
Hey, something's happening. She's on the run.
Finally, recommendability. I have a hard time with this one. Again, I didn't think it was a bad movie, and I'll say if you're a diehard science fiction nerd, you might enjoy it, but no, I mean, I'm probably not going to go out of my way to really recommend it. I'm not going to be sitting at the water cooler on Monday saying, hey guys, go check out Babylon AD. Yeah.
I'm right there with you. I don't think it's one of those movies that stands out enough for me to be like, hey guys, look what I did. I watched Babylon AD this weekend. But it's not a horrible movie. So if you want to go watch it, go watch it. But I wouldn't recommend it either.
We'll guide your memory with our computer. Are you ready, Mr. Turrup?
All right. Well, now that you've heard from us, let's see how the tiny room feels about Babylon AD.
Well, there you have it. Thanks for watching, and let us know what you thought about Babylon AD in the comment section below.
Also, let us know if there's any movies you'd like us to review in the future. Yay. Good job.
Tiny room. Shh.